conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, LA Lakers fans around the world. Excuse me. This is PFE Paul F. Ariel, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss the Lakers' 113-96 loss tonight to the Boston Celtics in Boston, Massachusetts. Quickly go over the stats. Celtics were led by Tyler Zeller, 24 points, 14 rebounds, really a career night for him. I think his best night as a pro. Jared Solinger, 17 points, 13 boards. All of the Celtics starters were in double-figure scoring. Rondo, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 16 assists. Bradley, 16 points. Jeff Green, 19 points. The Lakers were led by Kobe's 22 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Nick Young, 16 points off the bench. Jordan Hill, 13 points. Jeremy, 14 points. He played only 19 minutes. We'll talk more about that later. 5 of 8 from the field, including 1 of 1 3-pointers. 3 of 3 from the free throw line. 0 rebounds, 2 assists. 0 steals, 0 block shots. 2 turnovers. Plus minus was a minus 21. All of the Lakers starters had negative plus minuses, and they all had double-digit negative plus minuses. And that's about it for the Lakers. They also got 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists from Wayne Ellington. What happened in this game was the Lakers were in this game at the half. They were only down by 5 points. They were kind of keeping it close. Then Boston got away from them a bit in the third quarter. Boston outscored the Lakers by 11 points in the third quarter. I think a number of that came towards the end of the period. And for some reason, Byron Scott didn't play JLin at all in the fourth quarter. I kind of get it. I do. I get it a little bit, but it was a serious mistake. Right before halftime, Jeremy himself went on a burst. He scored like 7 points. You could see that he was feeling it. He was aggressively attacking the rim. He definitely had the most energy and hustle of any Lakers player tonight. And early in the fourth quarter, the game was still relatively competitive. It was somewhat close. Maybe it was, like a 9-point lead, 7-point lead for the Celtics. And Byron Scott put Kobe back in, but he never put Jeremy back in. And pretty soon after Kobe came back in, the lead got up to 20 points and the game was over, essentially. And at that time, Byron Scott still kept Kobe in until 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, but he never put Jeremy back in. I said on Twitter, this is probably the worst coaching job that Byron Scott did the whole year. And it's not just because he didn't put Jeremy back in. He didn't counter what was being done. Boston wanted to run. And the Lakers have a couple players that are older that don't run that great, like Kobe and like Carlos Boozer. If you're playing against a running team, you really should be playing JLin more than 19 minutes. And what really made me mad after the game was that Byron Scott was talking about, okay, now he's announced he's going to make lineup changes. And the reporters were asking him, well, point guard, power forward. He didn't say. Apparently he said he's going to make 1 or 2 changes. The first thing you might think of is Ed Davis for Carlos Boozer or Nick Young for Wes Johnson. But there's one thing that was done in this game. In the third period, when Jeremy would normally come back in, instead, Byron Scott went with a backcourt of Wayne Ellington and Kobe Bryant, with Wayne Ellington basically playing point guard. I told people before that I was thinking if Byron Scott benches Lin, look for him to possibly insert Wayne Ellington as the point guard. And that little period of time where he did that, I think that was a tryout, basically. And then you could also say, well, Ronnie playing with the starters there a bit, which he did, also might have been a bit of a tryout. Some people think Ronnie Price will replace Lin. I would personally think that Ellington would replace Lin first. Now, we'll see. Maybe Lin stays as a starter. Jeremy Lin deserves to start in terms of his ability level on this team. Now, it's been argued many times, including in a piece or a column that was written on Lakers Nation today before the game, but this was said prior to the season as well. Jeremy might fit best with the bench because the bench is younger and they're faster and they can get up and down the floor. That particularly was the case with with Julius Randle around. That makes it even more explosive. And Xavier Henry. Of course, both of those players are out for the year. It still might work better. Because what you saw at times when Jeremy is out there with the starters is that they're too slow. They can't keep up with them. And tonight was, if you're a Kobe Bryant fan, and you have an idea or a concept that Kobe could still be a guy that leads the right team to a title, then I think after this performance, you should think better of that. He doesn't have the stamina and the explosiveness to do that. If you get against a team like the Celtics that just push the pace, Kobe can't do that anymore. He can't do that. And the NBA is evolving away from slow hero iso ball, that's kind of what Kobe plays now at his age and his number of seasons and mileage. I'm not dissing Kobe. I respect Kobe 100%. But you saw the limitations tonight. All you need is a young team that can run, and Kobe can't deal with that. So if he goes up against a team, even though the Spurs are old, they run. They can run, and they're deep. So I don't think that's a realistic scenario anymore. Particularly, after watching this game, I thought that even more. I was so stunned after watching this game. I literally was just sitting in my chair for like half an hour and talking to people on Twitter and putting out like 1,000 retweets. Everybody was so upset. Lin fans were mad. Lakers fans were mad. This was just an incredibly poorly managed game by the Lakers coaching staff. It's like they had no idea what to do, and it was pretty embarrassing. I've made the analogy before to Byron Scott changing the lineup to possibly being similar to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Now, many of you are not from America, and or you're not native English speakers, so you might not know that figure of speech. What that means is you're in a hopeless situation. You're in a bad situation. The Titanic, of course, sunk. So rearranging the deck chairs on a sinking ship is irrelevant. It's like you're doing something just to do it, to say that you did something. And because of some of the problems on the Lakers, changing the lineup might be analogous to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Is it really going to do anything? Maybe it will. Maybe. I mean, I understand Byron Scott. You got to try something. Unfortunately for Byron, he is stuck with his system. Now, the Lakers are beginning to shoot more three-pointers, which is good. They hit 6 of them tonight, and they shot 16. But in a lot of ways, Byron's system it's too clunky. At least the way that it's run by this team, it's too slow. And I know he wants to play that way because of Kobe. And, of course, Kobe famously did not like Mike D'Antoni's small ball and the fast pace. This system of Byron Scott's, this offensive system with this personnel isn't going to work. I don't think it's going to work that well. And there might be nothing you can do about it because this is the personnel that you have this year. And if you read some of these articles about Kobe and such, then there might not be anything you can do about it until Kobe retires. If you believe all this stuff that no superstars want to come play with him, you might not be able to get a lot of talent. I don't know. But it's a difficult thing. This game should have been a winnable game for the Lakers. It should have been a winnable game, even though it is a little bit of a style mismatch because the Celtics do like to run and the Lakers don't run as much. But Boston's not a good team. They came into this game with a 5-11 record. They were definitely beatable and a losing home record. And the Lakers it's like they couldn't do anything and they squandered it, essentially. That's the way that I felt, and that's the way a lot of other fans felt watching it. So with the defeat, the Lakers dropped to 5-15 themselves. I believe they have the worst record in the Western Conference. Now, we know that Jeremy said in an article written by Mark Medina that I recommended to everybody on Twitter, he said, he still believes that the team can make the playoffs. But they could, but it's going to be very difficult now. It's going to be really difficult. It might take 50 wins to get into the playoffs in the Western Conference because it's so competitive. Is this team really going to be able to win 45 more games this season out of 60 or whatever? That's not realistic. That's incredibly unlikely, regardless of any lineup changes that are made. So if that's the case, if the season is heading towards being a lost season, which it's mathematically it's not very far away and realistically, then the Lakers have to make decisions. Do you continue to base everything around Kobe? Or are you going to try to work with some of these young guys and see what they can do so you can evaluate them? Unfortunately, for many people, the Lakers are almost certainly going to continue to work around Kobe. Kobe's going to pass Michael Jordan and this type of thing. So he's kind of the star attraction, even if running things through him might not be the best usage of this season in terms of for the future prospects of the Lakers and letting the young guys get a little bit more run and get a little bit more opportunity. So it was, it was really frustrating to watch this. Again, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Now, I understand there's an argument to be made that at the time when Byron Scott would put Lin back into the game, maybe 6 minutes left or something, then the score was already out of hand. And so it's like, well, okay, just stay with the bench guys. But he didn't do that. He still had Kobe and I think another starter or two in. So then it looks more like a tryout, like you're trying out Ronnie with the starters, or it looks like you're just letting Kobe pad his stats. So the whole thing just kind of was really pathetic. I don't want to call it a disgrace, but it was incredibly mismanaged in the way that Byron Scott ran this game, in my opinion. The game wasn't played, in my estimation, in the manner in which the Lakers would have had the best chance to win, which means that it looked like it was played for different reasons. It looked like maybe it was a tryout game, or I said on Twitter, maybe if you're going to bench Lin, he had big numbers at the half. You don't want him to get big numbers right before you bench him, so maybe you're going to hold him down. It looked like there were other things going on besides just let's try to win this game. Because it just, the guys that were taking the shots weren't hitting a lot of shots. It just felt disjointed. And so I was just kind of like said I was surprised and really in a daze right after it ended, because I couldn't believe what I just saw. I really couldn't. And so I'm not surprised that right afterwards Byron Scott said changes are coming. However, again, if he's concerned about wins and losses, you should have tried to win this game. And you didn't do it the right way, not even close. So it was really frustrating to examine. Look, the good things in this game for Jeremy, and I'm not going to go over every single thing just because I just don't feel like doing it right now because I'm annoyed. Several good things about this game for Jeremy. Number one, he put the difficult Washington game behind him. Oh, how's he going to respond after the 0 for 10 shooting game? Well, he responded great. And we also learned, number two, that Jeremy said right after the Washington game that in the past he would have beaten himself up about it and kind of lingered on it. But he said he wasn't doing it anymore, and tonight he showed that. No, not only did he not perform poorly, which is good, so he bounced back, but his mind wasn't stuck on it. His mental process and the mental visualizing to bring up something I read from ACBC over at J-Lin Portal, Jeremy Lin Portal, which was great. A poster there named ACBC. You can see that Jeremy's is progressing in the mental aspect of the game. He put the last game behind him, let it go. He was much better with his turnovers tonight. He had 2 turnovers. I had no problem with either one of them. The first one was to Kobe. It was in a semi-transition. Like Boston's defense was not quite set yet. Like they hadn't gotten back after a missed shot by Boston, I believe. And so Kobe had ran ahead and Jeremy had gotten ahead of the defense. Kobe went to post up, or I think it was in transition. Kobe went to post up, and Jeremy threw him a bounce pass, I believe, but it was in the wrong spot. The only reason that happened, Jeremy did rush the pass a little bit. He rushed it because he wanted to get the ball to Kobe before Boston's defense was set. That's the reason why he rushed it. That's a chemistry issue. In other words, he didn't know exactly where Kobe was going to stop on the post-up. As they continue to work together, that won't happen. That won't be a turnover. So I have no issue with that at all. The second turnover was, I believe it was in the third quarter. Jeremy drove to the basket, and the only vulnerability that he has with the ball in that instance, and we've talked about this, is guys poking the ball from behind. Rondo poked the ball from behind. It came out of Jeremy's possession or grasp for just a second, and then he regained the ball. So he was okay. And then he started dribble again. I think they called it double dribble. That shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. Stu Lance, the analyst for the Lakers television network, said that Jeremy should have at least been able to gain possession back of the ball. Because this is like a technical aspect of the rule. Can you dribble again, or can you just get possession of the ball? I thought that if a defender tips the ball after you stop dribbling, then you should be able to dribble again. I mean, I might be wrong about that, and maybe Stu's correct, but either way, it shouldn't have been a turnover. So I think the referee missed the call on that. in my opinion, at least my understanding of the rule on that particular instance. So those were the 2 turnovers. They were the only ones. I have no problem with either one of them. Jeremy also had, so the last game was, the only issue that I had in that game was the turnovers. And I thought Jeremy was rushing. He was kind of getting in a little anxious state. He didn't do that tonight. He shot the ball well. He put the difficult outing behind him, and he looked great. When he stepped up late in the second quarter, he was the only thing the Lakers had going then. Like, as I said earlier, he had the most energy. He had the most hustle tonight. This is his kind of a game because it was an up-and-down game. Boston wanted to run. Well, that's what Jeremy does. But the rest of the Lakers couldn't keep up. And they didn't have the energy, and they were slow. If Byron Scott wants to bench Jeremy, if he wants him to lead the bench, a la, we need Jeremy to lead the bench, and so we'll start Patrick Beverley thing in Houston. If he's doing it, if he does it, and he's actually doing it so that Jeremy doesn't have to share the ball with Kobe, and Jeremy gets to play with younger guys who can run the floor better, in some ways it might be a better outcome for Jeremy. Yes, you lose the prestige of starting, and all the doubters get to he's not a starter. It could work out better for Jeremy, and it might work out better for the team. Particularly if Jeremy goes to the bench and Nick Young becomes a starter, then Jeremy would, without question, be the ball handler with the second unit. If he's on the bench with Nick, he might have to share the ball a little bit with Nick. But then you also run into the instance of, well, even if Jeremy is the primary ball handler for the bench, he still might have to run Byron Scott's slow system. In that case, there's no reason to put him with the bench because you're still going to play slow. So we have to look at all this. I don't know what's going to happen. Mike Bresnahan, who writes for the Los Angeles Times, took a guess on Twitter. He says he thinks that the change is going to be Nick Young for Wes Johnson in the starting lineup. That's what he said. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We have to see. So, again, to restate, Jeremy doesn't deserve to get benched. That's 100% clear to me. There's no question in my mind about that. He's clearly a better player than Ronnie Price. I don't even think that's a question. Is he better than Wayne Ellington? Yes. Wayne's probably a slightly better shooter, a pure shooter than Jeremy is, and he's taller than Jeremy is. But he can't create plays like Jeremy can. But if you're going to have Kobe play point guard, which he's done a number of times recently, then you might think to yourself, well, we don't need it. We don't need another point guard in the lineup. We could just have a guy that's taller, that's a good shooter. Maybe that works. But I'm not, as frustrated as I am with this, I'm not freaking out about it. It's kind of like, look, it might actually work out well. First of all, we don't know what's going to happen. Second of all, honestly, getting Jeremy on the floor without Kobe could really be a good thing for Jeremy and for the team, because Jeremy and Kobe play well together. And in that Mark Medina article, he's talking about Jeremy's like, I have no problem playing with Kobe. He respects me. I respect him, so it's Byron Scott was being real positive about Jeremy. So I don't it's not that they can't play together. But if you really want to maximize what Jeremy can do, then it's better to put the ball in his hands and don't have old players on the court with him that can't run with him like Kobe. And you need to slow the offense down when Kobe's on the court. So I hope he doesn't get benched, but I'm willing to see how it works out for him if that's the decision that Byron Scott makes. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows what Byron's going to do. I'm sure we'll probably find out more between now and the next game. The Lakers are going home. They finished this road trip 1-2, unfortunately. The next game coming up is on Sunday in L.A. against the New Orleans Pelicans. That's going to be a challenging game. New Orleans is good, of course, led by their young star, Anthony Davis. So whatever Byron's going to have to do, is going to have to do it quick. And so information might start to leak out. We might find out what's going to happen before it happens. So we'll certainly keep you updated and everything. And look, that's about it. Again, this is a long video. I'm not going to go through every single thing. What you need to know in terms of Jeremy in this game was he was aggressive. He was aggressive and steady early in the game. But he didn't come out looking to shoot, which I think is totally fine. He's been told point guard instincts and all this. So, okay, I'm not going to shoot much. And he didn't shoot much. I think his first rotation, he shot once. But then when he came back in the second quarter, he started to realize that he needed to do something because the team they weren't completely in sync and they didn't have the energy. They just didn't have the energy to keep up with the Celtics. Kind of like even if they would score, even if the Lakers would score, Boston would come and run back down and score off of the make. Like they came down, even after the Lakers made it, Boston would come down and run like they were running in transition off a miss, and the Lakers still weren't getting back. It's because again they're too old, a little too clunky as a team and as an offense. So Jeremy realized, look, I gotta spark it up here. I'm going to start making things happen. And what he started to do was he started to attack the basket. He started going right by Rondo, right to the rim, getting layups, couple of layups, and it worked. He was putting some pressure on Rondo defensively, with Rondo playing defense because Rondo had a great game. He was really controlling things, and so I think part of Jeremy's thinking was if I can't slow Rondo down, then I'm going to make him work and use energy on defense. And that's what he did. So he was doing that. He was putting pressure on. And then I think it was either late in the second or early in the third. And I can look it up real quickly, my notes. Then Jeremy had this basically like a heat check three-pointer from a couple feet behind the 3-point line, maybe about 30 degrees right at the top of the arc. I think it was early in the third. He had a burst. Let me just see. He had I think he had 6 or 7 points. Yeah, he had 7 points in a very quick burst in the last 4 minutes of the first half. And they were all on drives. He was the first one, he was fouled on it, 2 free throws, made them both. Then he had a great play where he scored. He was fouled on the drive, and he scored a bank shot layup. Then he beat the halftime buzzer with an aggressive drive and a layup as well. Then he, early in the third, he had another drive for a layup, and then he had another drive for a layup, and then the middle of the third, he had his final score of the game, which was that 3-pointer I was talking about. So he was feeling it. He was starting to get into a groove. And then soon after that was Rondo had the steal on him where he had the turnover, which was not really a turnover. And Then Byron took him out of the game late in the third quarter, and as we said, he would never return. But that late in the second, early middle of the third, he took it upon himself. I'm going to ramp it up. And it wasn't a selfish move. It was, this team doesn't have anything going right now. I need to ramp it up. And he kind of went into Mr. Fourth Quarter, insanity mode, and everything started going well. Now, to be fair, it wasn't all going well. The Boston still had control of the game. But I think that playing through Jeremy, using him as the focus at that point in time, was the only realistic chance that the Lakers had to win. And that's why everybody was so stunned and so upset, including Lakers fans. It's like, you're basically, Byron Scott, you're throwing away the game by not putting JLin back in. What are you doing? You're basically handing the game over. Are you just want to try out your different lineups, or what are you doing? So that's where the frustration and the confusion kind of comes in. And apparently none of the reporters after the game asked him why he didn't put Lin back in, which is absurd. So it's anybody that's a Lin fan. We've gone through all of this so many times. You just kind of reach a saturation point. It's just like you almost just went like, almost like you don't care, but it's like you just expect it now. And I don't know. I guess that's what it is. I mean, we've dealt with different of these inept coaches or inept coaching situations and demonstrations that it's like, I don't know, maybe you just get desensitized to it after a while. So it's like I'm blown away in the way that Byron coached the game. But at the same time, I'm not shocked because this has happened with Jeremy over and over again. And it's just, tonight's another chapter in the same book. And I know that Lisa Gapak, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, she's a reporter, journalist in, I believe, the Philippines and Indonesia. On Twitter, I was talking with her, and she's like, yeah, why aren't the reporters asking these certain questions? Why don't they ask him why he didn't put Lin back in? And it's like, if you, again, I've worked in the media and I've done PR type of work before. It's like, once you know the tricks of the trade, I mean, you can see when stuff's being done and not being done. And it's like the one of these games, I can't remember. It was like they also didn't ask him anything about Lin. It's like, why are these reporters not doing this? It's like everybody's in on the joke or something. We're just going to pretend to ignore Lin and like he couldn't have done more or something. Of course. He only played 19 minutes in this game. So that's the upshot here. I'm incredibly frustrated. So are you. I'm confused because I thought that Byron Scott was working to try to win. Now I'm looking at something at Twitter right now that A. Martinez was calling out Jeremy Lin's defense against Rondo. Dude, stop, please. Please. Rondo shot 35% from the field. I mean, give me a break. Yeah, he got into the lane a lot, but come on. I mean, that wasn't on Jeremy. But I that guy just does not seem to like Jeremy Lin, so I wouldn't worry too much about him. That's just his deal. Look, everything feels like it's felt before. Feels unfair. Feels confusing. Feels like we're back in Houston with the nonsense and the propaganda and the just up is down, down is up idiocy. I don't know what's going to happen. There are people like A. Martinez that are trying to push a narrative of, yeah, it was Lin's bad defense. Come on. But I'm more shocked than I am mad because this just didn't make any sense. Unless the team wants to tank or they just want to showcase Kobe the whole year. I don't know what was going on tonight. I really didn't understand what was going on tonight. It didn't make sense, in my opinion, for this particular game. If you were trying to win this game, the moves that were made didn't work, and they didn't make any sense, in my opinion. So I don't know what to tell you. We're just going to have to see what happens next. I mean, look, there are people in LA land that are haters and doubters. They're everywhere. We've seen them many times. The good thing for Jeremy is he gave a great effort. He performed very well. His shooting percentages are going to go up. His PER and other stats are going to go up. That's all you can do. All you can do is put it all out there, and that's what he did. So was his defense perfect? No. He was the only person putting maximum effort into defense and everything. He was all over the court on help defense. He played great. So I can't even get myself excited enough to take on haters like an A. Martinez apparently is, because it's so idiotic to try to play that. I just can't. It's not even worth the effort. All the fans saw it. Everybody saw what happened tonight. I put out a tweet and it was like, if all the Lakers were playing as hard as JLin, they'd be up by 20. And it was retweeted by people I don't even know that are just Lakers fans, because they saw the same thing that I did and that you did. So you can try to pretend, if you bench Lin, you can try to pretend you didn't get it done or whatever, but then you're in the emperor has no clothes. I don't know how many people you're going to fool if you try to do that. So look, that's about all I got. I was just this was it was just a stunningly poor performance by Byron Scott and his coaching staff. And we're just going to have to see what happens. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. Usually I have a pretty good understanding. The only thing I can think of is they have it in their heads. They want to make some lineup changes, and I guess they think that's going to work. Either it's that, or they just want to tank. I don't know. So we will see. That's all I got tonight. That's all I have. We want to thank Gary Chen, the popular artist and blogger from Taiwan, for letting us use this artwork of his. You'll find out more about Gary in the video description below the video player. You can go and check out his Facebook and get to learn more about him. Also in the video description, link for highlights for this game. Also, how you can come and follow us on Twitter and get involved in the conversation we have there. And finally, how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 3,500 members, I believe, and is growing all the time. Once again, I am PFE Paulo Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. A baffling night. Just a confusing, surreal type of a night. How you could only play JLin 19 minutes in this game is almost beyond belief. And if you're trying to actually win the game, in my estimation, there's nothing to say. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So it's difficult for me to try to interpret it. If you're a Lin fan, hang in there. We will get through this again. If for whatever reason Jeremy and his team does not think that the Los Angeles Lakers is the proper situation for him, then he can leave at the end of the year. So Tonight was the 20th game, I believe, 5-15 record. There's only 62 games more left, and then Jeremy's a free agent. So if he doesn't want to come back to the Lakers, then my advice to him and to his fans is let Jeremy continue to grow and learn. He's learning from Kobe. Put up some stats and some numbers, and you can do whatever you want. I still like him in Los Angeles. I still like him with this team. It's just it's probably not going to be everything it can be until Kobe is retired, and probably until Byron Scott's not the coach anymore. So we might have to wait that out. We will see. That will be up to Jeremy and his team to decide. But hang in there. Jeremy played well tonight. He redeemed himself after the difficult Wizards game. His mental attitude was great. He performed great. That's it. If you're a Lakers fan, this is incredibly frustrating. This shouldn't have happened. This was mismanaged by the coaching staff, in my opinion. But if you're a Lin fan, this night works out fine. Jeremy played great. The team got crushed without him being in the game, so we got the no Lin, no win. Don't worry about it. Just chalk it up. Another good night that we can check off that he's had, which is now, like 11 in the last 15 games he's played well, and on to the next game. So that would be my advice. Regardless of what they do with him, if they do put him on the floor, on the second unit, and he's allowed to play without Kobe, that might not be a terrible thing. So let's just see. We're just going to see how things play out. I'm not going to worry about it a ton between now and then because look, we've already been through this carousel, this roller coaster. So don't get too worked up. I know a lot of people are upset, but Jeremy has a way of kind of landing on his feet, so to speak. And I think I like where he's going. I like where he's heading. He is progressing. His mind is getting stronger. He's getting more even-keeled. He's learning more skills and how to play in different systems. That's fine. That's fine. I still feel very comfortable with him and his development right now. So, okay, that is it. It is 11:37 p.m. here on the East Coast of the United States on Friday, December 5th, 2014, which means it is 12:38 p.m. on Saturday, December 6th, 2014 in Taipei, Taiwan. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on Twitter. We'll see you in the YouTube comments. Again, hang in there. This was a nice bounce back game for Jeremy, and I'm looking forward to better things coming up for him in the near future. So have a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video, and we will talk to you again soon.